We're here to give you a review of Lifetime's 2024 movie, I Thought My Husband's Wife Was Dead.
And if the title alone didn't clue you in, go ahead and get ready for a wild ride and a crazy plot line.
I'm Heit.
And I'm Cheri.
And you've discovered Axiom Amnesia.
We want to thank all of the supporters who helped to make this video possible. If you want your name to appear alongside these contributors, make a one-time donation via Cash App or click the thanks button on this video, or you can head on over to patreon.com/axiomamnesia or become a channel member by clicking the join button to enjoy all of the benefits of becoming a monthly subscriber. So first of all, this is a Lifetime movie, and I do mean a Lifetime movie in the traditional sense. So let's just talk about a summary of the film, and we'll let you know how this review is going to go. There are some spoilers that we will be given along the way, and, you know, some things on the screen that might clue you into what's going on. So I will just call this a spoiler kind of review. So if you haven't seen it already and you're concerned about that, then you may want to wait to watch the movie first and then come back for this. All right. So this film is actually an adaptation of Minka Kent's best-selling novel called Unmissing. And so the story centers on Lola Winters, who's played by Sherilyn Allen, and a woman who looks like she has it all, basically, is what she is. She has a loving husband who's Leo Winters, who's played by Jamal Johnson, and he's a successful restaurateur that he's started with he and his wife. They have a really comfortable life. However, this idyllic existence is shattered when a woman from Leo's past, Tori, who is played by LaToya Luckett. Y'all know LaToya from Destiny's Child fame. Bills. That's right. She arrives on their doorstep. Tori is the presumed dead and missing for 5 years ex-wife, if you call her that, of Leo. And so this throws Lola's world into turmoil, raising questions about her motives and the secrets that she may be hiding.
Spoiler alert, none of this makes sense, and I haven't read the book, so I don't know what's different between the book and the movie, but it don't make sense to me.
Well, and you know what I think is always hard with these movies is a book can contain a lot of details and information, and when you're reading that book, you look at it over time. It's very hard, I think, to adapt a really good book into a movie, and we've seen it be a disaster on many different levels, you know, along the way. And then we've seen it done amazingly, you know, so it just really depends on, you know.
Right. And then a lot of times, right, when they're making movies and now documentaries, they're trying to make it a mystery and then have twists, right? So then most of the time I'm watching a movie like none of this makes sense. And then they try to explain it away when we're almost at the end of the movie. Like, so this character, Tori, right, is supposedly missing, then presumed dead, right? So she got a death certificate and everything. And then she shows up. She don't go to authorities or nothing. She just show up at her husband's house like, I'm back.
I know. And she's looking all disheveled and, you know, really bad and whatever.
Yeah. And the whole movie, she doesn't go to authorities or nothing. Hey, y'all, I'm alive. She just like, yeah, I need a new identity. I need what? What?
Yeah, there are like a lot of things in here that just don't make a whole lot of sense. And, you know, we really beat up like the Tyler Perry films for, you know, the twists and the twists. When I tell you this movie got twist on twist on twist, the twist has a twist of a twist.
But did it really?
I think toward the end, you know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like the dun, 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 just when you thought, you know, and then, you know, somebody else steps out of the shadows. Right. It was really me all along, you know, that kind of thing, right?
That's the model for these movies. It's like, oh, we need to make it look like it was this person. Or first you don't know. Then it looked like it's this person. Then it's looked like it's this person. No, it was really me. And then somebody step out from behind the wall. No. It was me. And then somebody come out with a gun. You thought you had the money, but I got the money.
Right. It's this kind of film. But let me just say, and I think maybe what we can do is, as we kind of have this discussion, you know, we talked about our new rating system that Heit, our proprietary rating system that Heit has put together for us so that we can kind of, I guess this would be a way to not just throw a number, 7 out of 10, right? Like we're adding up all of these different elements of a good film, and you'll be able to see them here. We're going to talk about the plot, the cinematography, the entertainment, the sound, the editing, and the acting and stuff like that. And I feel like I want to start with entertainment, because I think that's probably the thing people care the most about anyway. And so just because it's a Lifetime movie, just because it's kind of like all over the place, doesn't mean it's not entertaining, though. You know, it's just kind of like when you go in, I think when you know what to expect, right, then your ideals about what this experience is going to be, they're calibrated appropriately. You know, if I come on and this is a Lifetime movie, I'm like, okay, well, it's a Lifetime movie. You know, I know that there may be a few plot holes, but it's not a bad way to spend a couple hours. Yeah, and personally, I like LaToya Luckett, and I wanted to see her, you know, see what she did in this film and whatever. And so, you know, all right.
You like her as a person, or you like her as an actress?
Well, I can't say I like her as a person, but because she's somebody, because I don't know her like that, but because she's somebody who has been famous for a long time and now she's older, I'm always interested to kind of see what people are from, you know, are doing, you know, from a generation that was, you know, young and popping when I was young and popping. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like she was in Destiny's Child and we know all of that drama. And so when she put out a new song back in the day, or when she went solo, when she did all these things, when I've seen her in other stuff before, we'd watch her.
The one who made Torn, right?
Yeah. And that was a good song.
That's the best song. Well, the second best song out of anybody of any Destiny's Child, anything. Mm-hmm. That's the second best song. To
me, I like that song. You know, that's in the playlist. It's in the rotation. And we also saw her in, was it 1 or 2 Christmas movies? Like she's in that
Christmas movies,
you know, movie network, because there's like a Christmas movie network where there are all these like love at Christmas time stories.
Go to the comments, let us know if you want us to cover Christmas movies around Christmas time, because it's a million of them.
Well, and
we would never run out.
I kind of like, okay, y'all know that I can be cheesy sometimes. I do kind of like one of my guilty pleasures is like the Christmas love story or whatever, you know, where I love Christmas movies. And so that could be kind of cool. And maybe we cover Christmas movies in the month of December, or holiday films, or, you know, because I think that's definitely a genre that would be interesting to watch and discuss. So entertainment, we talked about entertainment. I want to rate, let's do our entertainment rating. I want to rate the entertainment value of this film probably at like an 8 for me, because I'm like, what's going to happen next? I'm engaged. I'm engaged the way you're engaged with a car accident when you're passing by. You want to see what happens next, because so this is a different kind of movie. Like, this is not a movie that is... It kept me watching it. You know, I was like, what happens next? Now I'm not on the tip of my seat like I am for a film that I think is just an overall better movie. But I'm watching it, you know, the same way as you can be entertained by a reality show, you know, with no writing or anything else. You're just like, now what's going to happen next? That's how it was. And then there's the point where the movie jumps the shark, you know, where you're like, okay, everything's unbelievable. I'm in it with you because I'm invested. And it's just more and more shenanigans happening. You're just like, you know, but I never had a high expectation of the film from the beginning. If you like these kinds of movies, you'll like it probably. And, you know, not a bad way to pass a couple hours. You know, I know your entertainment score is going to be different.
Yeah, it's a very bad way to, pass a couple of hours. So I think we're kind of opposites, because in Divorcing the Black, I think you said that the entertainment factor wasn't up there. And I said I wanted to see what would happen, right? But I'm the opposite this way on this movie, because I don't want to see what happened, because it makes completely zero sense. Of what's happening. First off, you need to explain to me why this woman is here for me to even care about it. That was the thing,
why I wanted to know, because
I don't want to know, because
they didn't explain it. It's like, okay, a dusty woman on a doorstep. What is going on?
Okay, but early on, we know that it's the missing wife, and you just gonna act like walk in the shadows and not announce yourself to anyone. It's dumb.
But
like,
to me,
I don't care what happens after that. You need to explain to me why she didn't go to authorities to get her identity back and all this, and tell them about you being abused in the woods and stuff and shot and whatever else done happened to you. Something go to the media. You trying to get some money. I don't want to see.
This is where my plot score would be impacted.
No, but I'm saying because of that, I don't want to see more because you have to give me a reason.
You want it to make sense. Yeah, I feel you.
You have to give me a reason. So for that reason, I'll probably give it somewhere around a 2.
Oh man.
Hold up. This is plot.
That's plot.
I'll give it a 2 in entertainment.
Okay. So as we're counting the scores back up, let's talk a little bit about kind of what happens in the film for those of you who didn't see it and probably won't. And you just want some context. Well, no, if you're not really planning to watch it and you just want some context, because I know, and I was surprised by this, but a lot of you like to listen and watch our videos, and you haven't seen the movie and you enjoy the video anyway, and you're like, okay, maybe I'll go watch it, maybe I won't, and it doesn't ruin it for you. And so, that's cool. So just so you know what happens. So LaToya Luckett's character, Tori, shows up on the doorstep, and now her ex-husband and new wife are there living at the house or whatever. At the time she shows up, the husband is out of town on business and so on and so forth. And now, just so you know, along the way, at this point, we're going to give the whole movie away. So this is your last chance to step on out.
So his new wife basically is there. And then Tori is like, I'm going to take your life. I want my life back.
Yeah. And by the way, she's pregnant too. The current wife, right? She's pregnant and about to have a baby, and has had a history of miscarriages. So, she's really delicate and in a delicate situation at this point. So, but since the husband is not home, then she sticks around and, there was an incident because Tori eventually goes and gets a job at a salon, at a hair salon. And so she's like sticking around town at this point. And sticking around town, she comes back and is interacting with this wife and everything. And then when the husband finally gets back from his trip, Tori is like at the crib.
Yeah.
Staying there.
This what happened. So, of course, she get a job at the salon. And who works there? The wife. Woo. Right? And then something happens and, the baby is doing something. She's spotting something. I don't know. But the only person who can take her to the hospital is the old wife. And then drive me to the hospital. Now come to my house and okay. That's how they get to the house together. Yeah.
And so then the husband's returning home, and he walks up and it's his old wife and everything like that. So fast forward, because, there's a lot of time of this weird dynamic of the odd threesome, and then it turns out that basically.
Well, she goes to work for him because.
But she's trying to extort him, essentially. Right. Tori is. She wants money now. If you got to get rid of me, you got to pay me some money.
Yeah, but why would he want to get rid of her? Nobody, you don't tell anybody. You still in the shadows talking about give me some fake identity and pay me every month or however often she's getting paid from him. So, none of that makes sense to me either, but that's what happens.
But she does feel entitled because he went and opened a restaurant. And apparently Tori is like this amazing cook, and she came up with all these creative ideas and recipes that, that was probably the idea for a restaurant, but the restaurant is healthy. When we first get there. And so, they got all this healthy cuisine that is not good tasting and whatever. And we see that the husband is like sneaking burgers and stuff, other food that doesn't taste good at this restaurant. So when the old wife comes back, Tori, she's like, let me overhaul your restaurant and stuff like that. Get you some good, good things on your menu and go and be kind of the designer of all of these, dishes at this restaurant. And everybody loves it. The food is amazing. So she's really helping to turn things around at the same time that she is extorting them, right? And so fast forward, the wife winds up, eventually having her baby, right? I know I'm skipping some stuff, but the wife has her baby. And, still we have this situation, and it's all got to come to a head. Now, we eventually find out kind of the first twist, right? And the first twist is we've been misdirected by one of the workers at the place, and we don't know what his deal is, but he's like sneaky spying and wants to know what the deal is. Why is this man paying you money? Because he doesn't know that this is the dead ex-wife, the not dead, dead ex-wife, the assumed dead ex-wife.
He goes around to, I guess, like cold cases or missing persons, and that's what happened. That's how he ended up working for this guy, because his wife was missing and he helped to try to find her and stuff. So he attaches himself to those things.
Yeah. So like he's a weirdo, but he's the weirdo that they use as like a misdirection, right? So we're supposed to think this guy, you know, is possibly, I mean, he could be the killer. You know, we just don't know. Or the
killer.
The killer of people,
the killer of
the
dreams.
one who took you the one who took you out to the woods. Because that's another thing, you know, she's having flashbacks of basically what happened was she was kidnapped, taken to the woods, and then she was abused, you know, in all ways while in the woods. And then she, you know, is able to escape. She meets some people who are like living in the woods or near the woods or whatever. And, you know, they help nurse her back to health and then whatever. But like it's 5 years later after it happened. And then boom, she shows back up, right? So that is kind of what has happened prior to this film actually, you know, taking place. And so
5 whole years.
Yeah, 5 years. And oh, by the way, Black China is in this movie as well. And, you know, she's got kind of a little side acting gig or whatever. Oh, or no, not Black China. She's calling her Angela White, I think is her name.
But so she has this role like, oh, I'm suspicious of people. I'm looking her up because something's not right with her. But
Talking
then
about Tori.
Yeah, but then it just falls flat and nothing happens with it. But yeah.
Yes. So then the first twist is revealed, which is that, you know, and everybody's kind of suspecting it because it is a Lifetime movie after all, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, that the husband has had a hand in her kidnapping and attempted killing, right? So, you know, that's revealed. And then, you know, so now you got the situation where he finally, and the husband has his car and it's really expensive, his dream car and everything. And so then in order to finally pay off Tori, he sells the car and whatever.
Because of some insurance money from her father or something.
Yeah.
It's basically where before she got missing, that's
right. Why she demanded the money, because she had some money before she went missing. And then, you know, kind of like, I feel entitled that you done made a whole business off of what I laid the foundation for, that whole thing. So she wasn't wrong that, you know, she'd had this insurance money, life insurance money that she had received from a parent's death. Well, I mean, you spent the money
until the twist, right? It's stupid, right? She wasn't wrong. Okay, you were missing. You show up, and then somebody has
spent the money that that became theirs when they thought you were dead. Okay, so the twist happens when it's revealed that the husband had a hand, right?
Yeah, he did it for insurance money, also.
Yes, and then she begins to suspect that he's going to kill his current wife that just had and the baby, maybe because. You know, he's low on money. He wants the insurance money again. And won't, you know,
he took out a new insurance policy.
And he took out, a policy. So this means, you know, I'm about to kill y'all. And so at this point, Tori was gonna leave town. She's got her money. She got what she came for. Then she turns around and goes back and is like, I gotta, you know, rescue you. And it's telling her.
And it's Layla, right?
Yeah, Layla. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got to rescue the current wife, and you know, because I have a heart. I care about you and this baby, and I don't want to see nothing bad happen. So then the husband comes and everything like that, and then the next twist happens because, you know, there's the confrontation. She's like, I know you did it, right? Then the next confrontation happens when the wife and the husband are talking, and we realize that they done it together. So they were seeing each other while Tori and the husband were still married. And then they together decided to get rid of Tori. And right? That's
No. So what happened was Tori confronted Layla, right? And then Layla was like, no, I took the insurance policy out and I'm gonna kill him, right? And then that's how she find it out, right? And we done it together, but I'm taking him out. And then the dude show up and she can't tell him, hey, she's about to take you out too. But I wouldn't care if he tried to take me out, but whatever, you know. But that's how we find out that Well, that's how he finds out that it was his new wife who basically plotted the entire thing from the beginning.
But he was down for
The first part.
The first part, which is killing his wife along with his girlfriend who was aware, right? And so, and
the girlfriend thought she was dead because he shot the wife.
Yeah.
And the wife knew that it was him, and all this
the whole time she's known that he was the one who tried to kill her. So this is why she's come back with her revenge, and of course she has her moment of big reveal. I knew the whole time So then, long story short, because this is the twist on twist on twist. Then when Layla, who is the current wife, is like, "Hey, I'm gonna reveal that I was the mastermind of everything like that," and then she turned around and kills the husband. Right. She stabs him and is like basically going to make it look like Tori did everything. But and then you still got the baby, the infant child going on at the same time. So it's just like, oh, my gosh. It's crazy. So, a struggle ensues. You know how it always goes or whatever. And then it comes to that climactic scene comes to an end where you don't exactly know what happens. Then the next thing the police are there and, well, I guess you do know what happens. You know that she winds up going to jail, she being Layla, the current wife, for all the, terrible things that she's done. So she's in jail. And then next thing you know, you see LaToya Luckett's character, Tori, rolling up into the prison with the baby carriage. And she's going in there and then they film and whatever. Now, the other thing that has happened earlier in the film is that Layla, the current wife, she was trying to get on a reality show. And this lady that you just saw on the screen was the reality show lady. And then she didn't want Tori because she wasn't as, not Tori.
She didn't
want Layla because her storyline wasn't exciting. And she was like, I can make a good story. She didn't want anybody. Yeah. And so then when this is all revealed, Tori goes into the prison where Layla is an inmate at this point with the baby and everything, or seemingly the baby. And then she's given her own kind of like big reveal. So this is the final twist that, hey, I knew everything and whatever. And look, I took your life and your baby and I'm free and got the money. I got everything out of it and you in prison and, frustrated
the money,
and all that.
The house, the car, the show, the whatever.
Yes.
Just like she said when she showed up at the door.
Yes. So then she busts up in there, this, I guess she's like the producer of the reality show, busts in there and is like, so you're on camera. So like they have snuck a camera into the prison so that this could be part of a reality show because now Tori has an exciting life and she's going to be on this reality show. And so then, of course, that Layla was like really ready to freak out at this point. And so that's basically what happens, the reveal. But then when Tori comes out, she has like a change of heart and she's like, hey, I'm just going to raise my ex-husband who tried to kill me's wife who also tried to kill me's child. And I done gave the child a new name and the name is a combination of the old name and the new, and that's it. But she does decide she doesn't want to be on a reality show. And then that's how the movie ends. So y'all know that was a lot.
It was just, yeah.
But, again, to me, the entertainment value is like, look at this. Wow. Okay. But let's talk about the plot.
Okay.
The
plot, let's say, if I could, I'll give it about also a 2. There you go. Plot. Because it's terrible. All right. So how much suspension of disbelief or however it's called, how much do I give it, right? So I talked about, okay, she showed up and just act like she was still missing this whole time, but why was she gone for 5 years?
Yeah, why did it take 5 years to get out?
You just waited in the woods and plotted for 5 years? That's dumb.
Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention is that in the woods, there was like not a plantation, but like
a homestead.
A homestead, someplace where she was able to put 2 and 2 together that this woman's ex-husband or some relation to Layla was able to hook up the paperwork so that she could be deemed dead after not having a body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was the judge and, that was just a minor plot point. But why did it take 5 years?
Yeah. Why did she go to work for him?
You know, and
True.
why, if you knew these people had wanted to kill you, why do you think you can just ease back into the lifestyle and make demands, okay? And make demands, and you not risking your life at every moment that this is happening.
Why
like,
she work at the salon too?
Yeah,
why did she
crazy.
go and basically the woman let her in the house and all this? Because if somebody is missing and they show up to me and they have to come here, we're going somewhere and I'm showing people, look, this person is back.
This person is alive.
Yeah.
But the reason that they're not doing it, obviously, which I guess is the whole reason you didn't like, part of the reason you didn't like the movie, is it didn't make sense because we as the audience don't know that the reason they don't want to go to police is because they tried to kill her.
Even after the twist, you tried to kill her, then what's taking you so long for taking her out? She's in the house with you and everything. If you don't want her out there, then why you have her going around and doing everything? It doesn't, like, you know? So I just be like, okay, yeah, we need to wait around for about 4, 5, well, probably 6 months to another year before, because if you're really like that and you're worried about that, then aren't you worried that she might be seen by somebody who recognizes her and stuff? And she's over here, and she's like, what?
She showed up.
Reality shows coming around and stuff.
She showed up on the scene, and y'all some killers anyway. Why didn't you just try to kill her
That's
again?
what I'm saying.
Immediately.
Exactly.
Immediately.
It makes zero sense.
You know,
you in the bed sleeping and stuff with her in the house.
Yeah. It ain't happening.
Yeah, but that's just to try to trick us, right? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to now, your plot is trash because you're trying to trick me as a viewer. You have to be able to trick me as a viewer and it still makes sense.
This part, yeah.
That's why it's trash and it's a 2 for me. What?
Okay.
Should have been. Maybe I'll give it a 1. I'm going to give you a 2 because there's story there. I don't know if that applies to the plot, but there is a story there.
So you're going to leave it at a 2 or you're going to give it a 1? Okay. All right. So for me, I'm going to say that I'm going to call the plot about, I'm going to give it a 3. The reason I'll give it a 3, I'm going to be a little more merciful, is because the entertainment, like the twist on twist on twist. Okay, but you are right. And the thing about a well-written thriller is that it's like you're building a pyramid, let's say. The bottom level has to be right. Bruh. You know what I'm saying? If your foundation is weak, the foundation is the stuff you're telling me at the beginning. If that's weak, then all of this other, actually it's not a pyramid then, right? But let's just say a regular building. All of this other stuff that's built on top of it can't stand if the foundation is very tiny and you got a big building on top of it. Yeah. So the plot, the twist can't be bigger than the basic plot, and the plot has to make sense all the way through. And also where you place the twist, right? So what they like to do is wait all the way into the last 5 minutes and then throw 8 twists there. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. But then, you know, you brought up Divorced in the Black, which we did review. I'll put in a link in the description. But, you know, that started out with a bang. Remember the scene that we did review in our you know, and break down was the funeral scene. Yeah, it started out crazy. It wasn't the basis, right? It wasn't basically the foundation. It was just to set up to show who these characters were. Right? Yeah. This one is like, hey, this woman is missing and blah, blah. So it's setting the foundation, as you would say, right? But that's opening scene for Divorced in the Black isn't setting the foundation of what this is about. That comes later on. The other thing I would say about this movie is that it does start out with kind of with something that keeps your attention, not you, but me, in the sense that it's like this mystery. It starts with a mystery. Divorced in the Black is not a mystery, but in the beginning, but this is a mystery. Like, well, why is this, you know, dusty woman showing up on the steps? Because that's how she was physically dirty. You know, what's going on? After 5 years, all this, she was kidnapped or whatever, tied up in the woods and abused. And then 5 years later, she's still like that, just looking dusty last you see. But what was also a little crazy, and maybe you would be crazy, you know, I would just say you would be traumatized from being in the woods if this, you know, and having all these things happen to you over this time, right? You would be traumatized. Yeah. But she was doing some weird stuff too. like putting on this lady's clothes, because the lady had an obsession with wearing white, and so she was putting on her clothes and in her nightgown and stuff. And I was like,
what
this
movie
is just
does that?
weird.
So the thing is, maybe we got to go back and start touching it to those movies from the late 80s and the 90s.
Yes,
because
the hand that rocks the cradle. Yeah, that's what I think of.
Because it's basically the same trope that's been reused, right? It's, okay, I want my life back, and then you start putting on the makeup of the woman and wearing her clothes and looking in the mirror and stuff.
Because that's basically what happens in the hand that rocks the cradle.
Oh, all right, yeah. So
that's what movie that is, because ultimately, and if you haven't seen it or whatever, this is a spoiler, so close your ears if you haven't. But basically, the crux of it is this woman who comes to be the babysitter or the nanny.
And she wanted the baby too.
She wanted she wanted that life, the husband and the baby, because something had happened in the film where that was taken from her, and it was directly related to the people in
And this is basically that, this life was taken from me because he wanted some insurance money, and he even got my daddy's settlement.
Yes. And this is what I'll say? This is like no reflection on the actual book. This is no reflection on the book, because sometimes, like there are some movies, and we still haven't done it on this channel, but we will, like Beloved. Beloved is an amazing book. The movie could not depict what needed to be depicted in order to be an excellent movie from a book that was just so vast in all the themes it explored and everything like that. It was a failure from the beginning. Maybe it could have been a miniseries. Yeah, but nobody ever wants to have a miniseries. Yes, but same kind of thing. Books to, transitioning, to a screenplay is a challenge, and I just think you have to be really skilled. But at the end of the day, I wasn't aware of this best-selling book that the movie is based upon. And so, you have a book, you get an opportunity to have it turned into a movie. Who would really say no? So, no reflection on the actual book. Maybe I'll read it at some point, but now that it's been ruined and I know what happens, I don't,
Well, maybe you don't know.
Go to the comments. Did any of you read the book? Because, if you did, maybe you could shed some light on what you think about it. At any rate, let's get to our rating, our full-on, rating. All right, so we did plot, entertainment. Let's go to editing for me. Editing, I'm just going to say, is like a 7. Because there was to me, a 5 would be like average, and it was edited pretty good to kind of keep the suspense going, and that's what I'll say on that. What about you?
Yeah, I'll say when it comes to the editing, maybe I would say around a 7, because when it comes to the story and everything, I think I know what happened, right? Mm-hmm. I think that some of the flashbacks, it wasn't out of place. So, it just meets standard, I guess. Yeah.
And then I would say the same for cinematography. Like, there wasn't anything that I looked at was like, oh, this is really cheesy. I'm going to give it an 8.
8 means it's pretty good.
Okay, well, then I'll say I'm going to give it a 7.
To me, but it's your rating.
Yeah, okay, look, I'm going to change it a little bit. Okay, well, you know what? Maybe I'm going to give it a 6. I'm going to give it a 6. Okay, because like you said, it wasn't. There wasn't anything that was wrong with it, and it was good enough to support what I saw in front. Nothing stood out to me, but at the same time, it wasn't like I saw dolly shots and all kind of interesting shots that I was like, so
So when I look at it, I didn't see anything that was extra, right? It's just like, hey, we have this template. It's a TV movie, right? So in a TV movie, you're not going to see any good, basically color grading and special lighting and stuff for the most part, right? It's just, hey, we just need it to look good enough on everyone's crappy TVs, and that's it. So you could get a 6 for that, right? Because but so the thing is, everything, to quote, looks flat, right? Every single scene looks exactly the same, which makes me go back to about a 5 because it's a TV movie, right? Mm-hmm. So every scene looks exactly the same, except for the flashback scenes where they try to, how they try to do the lowered frame rate and stuff, kind of like jumpy and moving the camera and stuff. And other than that, just everything looks exactly the same. And I don't know if you have to do that because it's a TV movie. But that's what they seem to do now, right? I understand doing it back in the day, but now with the cost of cameras and lenses and stuff and accessibility, I think it's possible to do it differently. And it's not multi-camera.
And not be like
situation.
cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was a different story when they were using actual film.
Yeah, multi-camera where you have to have just light up the entire scene. But yeah.
So let's go to sound next. My sound score, I'm going to actually give the sound a 9. The reason I'm going to give the sound such a high score is based on my recollection of it. Not like they had amazing music or something in the score or whatever, but the sound of, you know, the things that's supposed to make you feel what you need to feel when you're anticipating something, you know, it was on point. And then just the basic sound, whether it was the ADR or whatever that they needed to put in place, it all at least met standards. And I feel like I was where I needed to. I heard what I needed to hear to feel what I needed to feel in this movie. And I'm going to give it a 9 because, you know, we've watched some movies with really bad sound before. And man, that is just the sound. You can deal with bad visuals, but when you have bad sound, boy.
Yeah. So what I would say is I don't remember, like, so a lot of movies, even great ones, you can hear when they're doing ADR. Dialogue replacement is what happens. So if you're in a situation and let's say they have fans blowing or something or just noise in the background, they go into the studio, re-record those parts, right?
Right.
And
so when we say
ADR,
that's what we mean.
Yeah, you can hear the difference. And this one, I don't remember hearing anything like that. So I would give it about a 7. And it, like you said, everything else was there. And yeah, but one thing about the editing and cinematography, wasn't this the one that kept fading to black?
I think so. I think it did have fades to black because we talked about that actually briefly in the movie. We said, why do they keep doing that fade to black thing? Yeah, it did that a couple times.
Yeah, a couple times.
More than a couple, maybe in between each scene. Maybe because the fade to black was for the commercials. Yeah. So that's the other thing you have to think about. So I don't know that I'm going to count that against them because the fade to black when you have a TV movie is for the commercials. And
but
so
is that the only way to do it, or I don't know.
I mean, maybe you have two versions. Maybe you should have two versions, right? You have one with the commercials already built in, and then you have another one that doesn't fade to black. But I think they thought that the fade to black wasn't that big of a deal. So whatever. You know, we're not going to have but how hard would it be just to go ahead and fade it out?
Or not fade and just cut away, right? Like most stuff we watch, you do it with a sound or something and you don't fade. Like TV shows, are they all fading every time?
I don't know. I don't notice it. So, you know, that's...
So I'm going to go ahead and give them a 6 in editing for that.
Okay.
I'm going to go down my editing.
Oh, look at you. So, all right. So let's talk about the acting. You can go first on the acting.
Okay. So for the acting, I don't know. How do I?
Let's talk about LaToya Luckett.
It's like a parody. Like, I don't know. I guess her facial expressions were there and stuff, but what am I judging? Like, none of it makes sense. So how do you act like somebody who's in a situation that's just completely not plausible to me? You know, and so like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle and those sorts of movies and whatever movie where the woman's putting on a lipstick and just going all over her face and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Where it's really like, dang, this person is really went beyond this point and just demented, right? Then you're like, whoa, that's a nice performance. But this one was just kind of like, I don't know. It just didn't hit there. Black China, I don't know, whatever. Whoever the other lady was in the salon, whatever. The dude, he's just there to just be the dude. So, and Layla was just there to be pregnant and then at the end try to switch it on. And I don't think it was that great. So they could just get about a 5 for acting because I didn't see any performances where I was like, dang, okay, this person did it. You know, but overall, because I got to put them all together, it's, you know, it's just like the cinematography. Everything is just level, you know, whatever, and it's just there, and you put a movie out.
Well,
what?
I mean, I feel you, and I feel your logic on that. In acting, I'm going to maybe take a slightly different approach. Okay, I'll start with LaToya Luckett. I think that for what this is, she was a pretty good actress, right? Now, I'm not certain that LaToya Luckett could have pulled off what Rebecca De Mornay, I think is her name, who played the babysitter in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. I don't think she could have done that level of performance. And, you know, as you were talking about the acting, like what I realize is that this is like the spectrum of different art you could have, right? This is kind of like a bad, I won't call it a bad, a less good version of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, where The Hand That Rocks the Cradle was very excellent in all ways to me.
Well,
and the thing about this is that it was supposed to be serious like that, but there were other distractions that made it less serious. But when's the last time you
watched it, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle? If you're looking at it with 1992, 93
well,
eyes,
I would say
you know
I probably watched it in the last 5 years.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, but it was really good in all ways, right? In the sense that the acting was good. You had seasoned actors, whereas these actors are people transitioning to acting, maybe with somewhat less experience, although LaToya Luckett has, you know, plenty of things under her belt. The other thing I would say about how this movie is perceived is, and I'll get to my acting score in a minute, but I need to, you know, just talk about this, is that we cannot ignore the cultural aspect of the film and what we want to see as a Black audience. If you're doing well, we got to see that hair is laid. We want to see you looking good, looking a certain way. Like the aesthetic is always very important for our films, so it would seem, for our films that fall into a certain genre kind of thing. Like, you know how in these movies, even back into the 90s, right? You know, everybody was out, the jobs they had, they were always like ad execs or something like that, right? They worked in marketing or this or that. And they always dressed very, you know, amazingly. Yeah. Everything was about the look of it. And so some of that, to me, took away from the opportunities that are just, what is this basic story? What is this basic thing? But at the end of the day, it's Black people. And well, if you look around Atlanta, this is a lot of what, this is how the people will be looking and dressing. And these are the bars that they are trying to meet. So is it unrealistic? I don't think so. But it just kind of changes things. So
I read the summary for The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and it sounds like you got it wrong.
What?
So basically, after this guy offs himself, right? He get caught doing something to somebody, to a woman. It says a pregnant widow loses her child and embarks on a mission of vengeance against one of her husband's victims.
Yeah, I said that
the babysitter wanted.
The babysitter, yes.
So the babysitter was his widow?
Yes. So the babysitter was this rich lady whose husband killed himself. And then she loses the baby she was pregnant with at the time. And then she comes to be the babysitter for one of the people who had accused, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So they had something directly.
Because I was like, what? Maybe that's Poison Ivy.
Well, no, it had something directly to do with the loss of her family and situation. So she like, you took my life, I want yours. So that's what they had something directly to do with her situation, her loss, which is true, even though her husband was apparently scum. So that is, so when I look at these films, though, that is the concentration is just on different things a lot of times. Now, would I think that Spike Lee or Ava DuVernay or one of them would have concentrated on these same things in this same way if they were doing the adaptation of this book to film? No, because when I see this is a certain thing. This is Tyler Perry. This is Lifetime movie for Black people. Yeah. So it's just, it fits in a certain box, and there's nothing wrong with that box.
Yeah, and you just can't be a regular person in these situations because
you just have to know what you're looking at going into it.
If they're so successful and stuff, why are they doing these things for little insurance payments? Yeah, because really it was just $2 million here. 5 years later, I'm trying to get another $2 million, and I got this big successful business, or career, and I'm doing these little petty things, basically, but drastic petty things.
Yes.
For some money.
Yes.
It's weird.
Now, let me get back to my acting score that I would give my rating for acting. starting with LaToya Luckett, I think that she is better than a meet standards actress. She can carry, you know, these types of roles. And I think she was, you know, I think she was pretty decent, and her acting style works well in these Lifetime type of movies, whether it's like this, whether it is like the Christmas movies. And when I say works well, like, I don't look at it and be like, oh, you can't act. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I think that if she was taking on roles that were bigger than her ability, then you would be like, oh, girl, this, you know what I mean? Because we've all seen movies where we feel like the actor is not good, or just it was ill-fitted. So when we see actors like that, like, I think she's, and I don't want to say staying in her lane, because she could get better and become even better and better as time goes on. And we really don't know what her potential is. But I know one thing, she seems to have stayed in her lane enough to do a good job at all of the film challenges that she's taken to this date. I've never seen her in anything where I was like, girl, no. You know, so I think that's a positive. Then Black China, I was pleasantly surprised because she was meet standard. She was okay. She was fine.
You were surprised because she meets standards?
Because everybody can't be an actor. Like, even you ever see these people, even when you're supposed to just be yourself, like in a reality show, y'all are bad. So, you know, and because she had kind of a reality show background, and, you know, that,
but
I
what
thought.
What did she really do? Okay. I guess it takes some skill.
Well, she was natural at being a person who would be that type of character, who was, you know, inquisitive, and who would talk about somebody, and she sounded natural being in that role. Yeah. So I think she was all right.
Like, something wrong with this girl.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right. So to me, she was all right in there. I didn't have a problem.
She wasn't
with it.
Master P.
You know, nobody's getting an Oscar for this. Like, we already go into it understanding that, but it was, you know, it was not bad, you know, so that's what I look. The guy is an actor. I'm going to be honest with you. This was a movie probably for women, about women, by women, however you want to say it. The dude was just forgettable. Like, I can't even remember hardly what he said. He was just... Okay,
two guys,
so
basically.
You're right. So the guy who was the weirdo was better than the husband, because the husband to me was forgettable. He was just there to move the plot forward, right? He was like, I did kill you, you know, like, okay, whatever.
The other guy was there for misdirection.
The other guy was there for misdirection, and he was interesting. And I don't know if it was his acting. He carried off the role. It was nothing wrong with it. But I don't know if it was that the character was interesting or the actor made it, you know, either way, I didn't have a problem with it. And, you know, and even the husband, he was meet standards. He wasn't bad. It's just, he was just whatever, you know, like, because he wasn't who you're focused on as a person in the target market of this movie, which is a woman, right? This movie is for women. And I'd like to know, actually, well, let me say the target market. I'd like to know, for any of the men who watch the movie, in the comments.
I'm a man.
You're a man, and I know how you felt about the movie. You didn't already rated it, but how you felt.
Give you my gender perspective.
Well, okay, hold on. Let me just give my acting score so we can be done and give our final scores. I talk too much, but this is for women, and we understand when we talk too much. Okay. All right, my acting score is going to be
behind the scenes. I'm back here. Well, not all the time, but we could send messages and stuff because, and I'm like, stay on topic, move on. I know. All the time.
Look, he does that. But you know what? The thing that I think makes it wonderful, by the way, my acting score is going to be a 7. The thing that makes it wonderful is that we have the yin and the yang. You know, you're the brief person who's like always going to be succinct. I'm going to expound on it. And I think we balance each other out in a lot of different ways, including the talkativity aspect of things.
So you give it a 6.1.
So the movie is a 6.1, which is, if we call 5 like average or just meet standards, is not a bad score.
And I give it a 4.
So
would you watch this movie again?
No.
Okay.
No. I wouldn't watch the movie
Not
again.
willingly.
No. But you know what? But let me just say, I don't watch most of these things again. Most stuff I'm not going to watch again. But y'all already know, when I get obsessed, I get obsessed. But let me also just say that on this same channel, we have re-released and had a little expanded discussion on a fan theory that we did on Queen of Slim. And at the time we did it, we didn't really have this channel popping in the same way. And it really would have, that video would have really been more appropriate on that channel. So we've put it on this channel for you all to watch with a little bit of extra fluff that wasn't with the original video. So be sure, I'll put that, link that in the description too. Be sure to check that out because I think you guys will really, really like it. So let us hear, Heit, your...
Wait, I don't even know what the question was.
Oh, so I was about to tell you. I'm about to rephrase it. See, your male perspective watching this Lifetime movie as a man, because clearly we felt differently about the film.
Yeah, well, my male perspective on what? Like this just...
Well, you said you're gender-based. Whatever. What were you gonna say?
About to ask the question. I'm saying I can answer the gender-based perspective. Is that the question to the men in the comments?
Okay, so to the men in the comments, how did you take this film? Did you like it? Do you feel the fact that you're a man affected how you enjoyed or didn't enjoy this movie? Because, it just falls into the category of the man is bad because he was cheating, that kind of thing. And, his trifling side chick, you know what I mean?
I don't know. So, so my thing is, all right, from the women here seem like I want this certain life or whatever. And maybe the so-called, not as a pejorative, modern woman, right, doesn't think that same way. That's why maybe it's older actors and stuff in this film, right? Because it's maybe also an older audience. Because they like, we don't care about no man. We don't need no man. Don't want no relationship. Don't want no family or nothing like that.
The younger women now. Yeah.
So this is like, oh, I want this certain life and this woman has my life and I'm going to go and get it. I don't know what the man's, what do you call it? His equivalent of that is, right? Maybe, you know what I'm saying? So I don't understand like why that would even be a thing or something that somebody would be interested in.
So I'm going to throw this out here because, see, I wasn't expecting this whole discussion, but it's something that occurred to me. Maybe it's not the men who changed and the man is the same. Maybe it's the women, right? Because the man in this movie, he didn't even want that baby. He was just like, whatever, maybe, and I'm not saying he's representative of all men in any way. I'm just saying maybe the men and what they want and willing to do and stuff like that, maybe they haven't changed as much as the women who are in their 40s, late 30s, around 40 to 50 and older, and then the women who are 20 and 25. Because the 20 and 25 are like, forget that. I'm just like a man. I can do whatever I want to do, and I'm out here, I'm going to still have a family on my own. There's never this thought that you're going to be married, at least. And I'm talking, there are exceptions, but like there's never this thought that you're pursuing marriage and traditional family life in the way that, we may have seen in previous generations as an aspiration. And so maybe it's just that the women, I'm sure changed. Maybe the women changed more. Maybe that's what happened. Yeah. And so that's why it's stark difference. But one thing they do have in common is they all wanted that money. These women wanted that money and the younger women want that money. It's about the bag. It's about that is the culture that we've seen either way.
But I do think so there is some equivalency for a man, right? Because I think that's where the entire red pill incel community, basically this overarching idea comes now, right? Even that term, the modern woman, because so they see whatever supposedly successful men and live vicariously through them and want that life, right? Like, look how Jay-Z get to have so-and-so, right? Beyonce, and be rich and powerful and have admiration, and look at Russell Wilson, how he get that life, and I'm over here and I can't even get none. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's kind of that same sort of thing. And if somebody took that, there's probably movies on Tubi like that, right? Where, you take those elements, then this probably could be put into the basic vein of this type of movie, right? But just basically from the man's perspective. Oh, why this guy get all the women? I need to go to the gym and work out so I could be buff like him and try to make some money so that I could be appealing and have his life. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that the whole red pill thing, though, is in direct response to how women change yes, it is in direct response to no, I'm not getting ready to be over here doing all this while you do that, so it's in response to not getting. Well, let me just put it this way: it's not unlike the response that you see when people of color, Black folks, and others are, living their best lives, and other people who feel entitled to that type of, entitled to certain jobs, entitled just because they are entitled to control, are having a fit. And we see this in American politics right now, especially on the red side. The things they felt entitled to have been taken away. This is why, it's like, oh, my country back. No, what you really mean is you want to continue to subjugate people. And
I don't like the modern woman because she wants to have some individuality, some autonomy.
I know, because she's not in complete servitude to me. This is why I don't like, and then, and then to try to twist the knife, the attitude is, oh, well, it's all about how you look. You should only look a certain way. I'm deserving of a woman who only looks this way, or who only whatever, So, I mean, because of income disparities, right, between men and women. I make more money, so you have to do what I say and look a certain way. Because of the historical discrimination against women. If you want to qualify, if you want to qualify for a man like me, right? That's the attitude. And a lot of women have just said, no, thank you. No, thank you. And that is just, that makes them angry. It's upsetting. It's upsetting in the same way it's upsetting to, those
I think it would be interesting. Maybe y'all go to the comments and let us know if there are movies that basically explores that idea, not in a way to promote it as good, but you know what I'm saying, to expose those sorts of characters in the way that it exposed throughout the years so-called gold-digging women in this, and women like this who wants this other woman's life.
Because that is like a thing that really, we've seen so much, women are just trying to get your money, but when you factor in historically how women has been, like it was just late last century. And by last century, I mean the stuff that started with 19. It was just in the late 1900s when women could get their own bank accounts without the husband's signature and approval, or some man. So we need to look at things in context as we have some of these discussions.
Yep.
But at the end, if you like these kind of movies, this is going to be fine for you. I don't see any reason. But also do let us know about the Tubi movies, because we don't really see as many Tubi movies. So if y'all have watched Tubi movies, let us know which ones you think would be good for us to just take in and look at and, talk about.
I did watch the Secret Society series. I think the newest one I didn't see, but I think they just put it on Tubi. But other than that, we don't watch it anymore. Before everybody started watching Tubi, we watched Tubi.
Yeah, but now, like everything else, once more people get more Tubi movies on, it gets flooded with all manner of things, that are just less interesting. But let us know. Make your comments now. And we appreciate you guys so much, as always.
And if you made it this far into this nice long review, type modern woman in the comments so we'll know you're one of the real ones who stick around to the end.
And be sure to check out one of the videos on the screen right now.